Welcome all of you to session 2 of revision batch for CS Professional Tax for December 2022 exams. I am Chartered Accountant Pratik Neve and today I'll be guiding you on advanced ruling in this second session. Agreed? This is advanced ruling under GST. Yes. And in the third session, which will happen today only, our discussion will be on demand and recovery, of course, under GST. So we will start with advanced ruling. Very nice to see you all, and let's keep up the enthusiasm till the end because you are in zest learning. Yes. So just requesting all the live participants to keep your cameras on so that we can get a classroom feeling. Those who are watching recordings, yes, enjoy, go ahead, enjoy the recordings. Friends, when we talk about advanced ruling, it consists actually of two words. One word is advance and second word is ruling. Advance means, yes, before undertaking a particular transaction, or before even starting the business. That is the meaning of the word advance. And meaning of the word ruling means decision. So a decision which is obtained by registered person in advance is called as advance ruling. And obviously we are talking about a decision under GST. Agreed? So decision which is obtained in advance by registered person for particular matter under GST is called as advance ruling. Agreed, all of you? The weightage of this topic would be maximum 5 marks. So when students ask me what can be asked from theory topics, yes, advance ruling can be asked from theory topics, and other things as we discussed yesterday were assessment audit. And today we are going to discuss demand and recovery. So from these things you can expect something of 10 marks. Okay. So Ketki, did you understand meaning of the word advance and ruling? So whenever you think about any topic, start doing any theory topic, first you have to give attention to the exact concept before even going to technical provisions. Concept. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see important points in advance ruling. So what happens? I am confused, suppose that whether registration will be required or not for me under GST. In that case also I can make application for advance ruling. I am confused about valuation. I am confused about, say, input tax credit. So yes, in those cases, advance ruling can be sought. Agreed. In short, assessee has some question in his mind. To solve that question, he can approach AAR, Authority of Advance Ruling, and they will tell this assessee or this applicant as to how he should handle the issue under GST. But that is advance ruling. So see the provisions now. One thing always keep in mind, that is for place of supply issues. Which issues? Place of supply issues, advance ruling cannot be taken. Okay, obviously we are going to see on which all doubts or which all questions advance ruling can be sought. But something, if I tell you out of the way in the beginning only or at the last as a special point, you remember it well. That's why I'm telling you that for which matters advance ruling cannot be obtained, for the matters of place of supply. And friends, who is the applicant under advance ruling? The applicant is a person who is registered under GST or who is seeking to register under GST, means desirous of obtaining registration under GST. Means I am already registered and I have a question. Can I make application for advance ruling? Yes. Secondly, in my mind I have a business. Okay, in my mind I have a business, whether I can make application for advance ruling if I have a question whether registration under GST at all is required or not. Answer is yes. So that type of wide scope is there. Is it compulsory to make application under advance ruling? Answer is obviously no. May. Okay, he may go and take advance ruling. Okay, so these some technical points you have to keep in mind. Let's see definition of advance ruling as given in section 95. Always I have been emphasizing on remembering the section numbers. You know that yesterday's sections, can we quickly revise section numbers? You can easily remember them. 59 is self-assessment. 60 is provisional assessment. 61, what is 61? Is it scrutiny assessment? 62 and 63 best judgment assessment. 62 was for non-filers of GST return. 63 was for unregistered persons. Yes, best judgment assessment for unregistered persons. Very good. And 64 lastly was for summary assessment. And 65 was general audit. General audit means that audit which is carried out by GST officers themselves. And 66 special audit. Okay, wonderful. Now see today's sections. We are talking about 95, which will be talking about definitions. So advance ruling means a decision. Ruling means a decision provided by authority or appellate authority. Who is authority? That also you are going to understand. Or appellate authority to an applicant on matters or on questions specified in subsection 2 of section 97. So questions on which advance ruling can be sought. Those questions you are going to understand in section 97. Agreed? Or subsection 1 of section 100 in relation to supply of goods or services or both being undertaken or proposed to be undertaken by the applicant. Agreed? Yes, very good. See, purposefully of few things I am going in depth because at home you would never read them. So I thought let's go in depth of few things. Okay, so see, what exactly is meaning of the word authority? Authority, can you check, means authority for advance ruling. So basically AAR. So to whom application is to be made for advance ruling? AAR. On which questions? Questions which are mentioned in section 97. Agreed? Yes. Let's see. Who is applicant? Applicant means any person registered or desirous of obtaining registration under this act. So are all the things clear to you till this point? One outline of the topic I gave you first, and now we are going in depth of each of the things. Yes, quickly let me know in the chat window. I can see 21 of you. Very good. Out of 124, 21 are attending. Okay. Chalo, tell me quickly in the chat window. Is it okay? Are we on the track? Especially those who have not switched on their cameras. Yes, very good. Chalo, good. Questions for this? Questions for which the advance ruling can be sought. Okay, check. It can be sought for what? Classification. Because classification is going to decide percentage of GST. So classification. Applicability of notification. It could be any notification. Mainly notification of exemption also. Okay. So basically this particular supplier could be confused whether particular notification will apply to him or not. So he can get that clarified from AAR. So classification, applicability of notification, time and value of supply, admissibility of ITC, and liability to pay tax. Agreed? And whether applicant is required to get registered. And lastly, whether any particular thing done by applicant with respect to any goods or service or both amounts to or results in supply, means for scope of supply also. Okay, so how many issues are there? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 7 questions are there. You cannot see place of supply in this. Agreed? So let's quickly, in one word, you tell me which are the 7 questions on which advance ruling can be sought. These 7 questions means these are the areas in which if applicant has doubt, he can make application for advance ruling. First, you may not go in sequence, that's fine. First is classification, via which the rate is decided. Second is applicability of notification, time and value of supply. Then ITC admissibility, scope of supply, means whether particular activity done amounts to supply or not as per GST. Yes, liability to pay tax. And finally, whether registration itself is required or not. So I hope this issue is clear to all of you of questions on which ruling can be sought. Pratiksha, is it clear? Yes. Very good. Now time to understand AAR and AAAR in detail. Now who is this AAAR? It is Appellate Authority for Advance Ruling. Now tell me friends, GST follows dual model. All of you know. Dual model means 50% of the revenue goes to state. That state where place of supply is taking place. And 50% to central government. Agreed? So in this AAR, that is Authority of Advance Ruling, there are 2 officers. One officer representing CGST, one officer representing SGST. Agreed all of you? So see, whatever we try to do, there are going to be even number of officers. So there are just 2 officers, one of CGST, one of SGST. Now what can happen is, the decision given by AAR could be, 2 officers can have a different opinion. Means one officer feels, see, there is a question of classification. Suppose one officer's opinion is that classification is such that percentage is 18. Other officer's opinion is that classification is such that percentage is 12. Now whose decision will prevail? So there is no one's decision will prevail. This will be, basically referred to AAAR, Appellate Authority for Advance Ruling. And now if AAAR gives the decision, then that will become binding. Got it? Further, what I want to tell you is, if AAAR also cannot give decision, then it will be called as such application or such question on which advance ruling could not be sought. Agreed? Yes. So check. The authority for advance ruling constituted under provisions of SGST Act or UTGST Act shall be determined to be authority for advance ruling in respect of that state or UT. Government shall appoint officers not below rank of Joint Commissioner as members of AAR. Appellate Authority for Advance Ruling constituted under provisions of SGST Act or UTGST Act shall be deemed to be AAR for that state or UT. In short, The provisions for constituting AAR and AAAR are not given in CGST Act. Where are the provisions given? They are given in SGST Act. So now please, what you have to understand is, one member in this AAR will be from SGST, one member from CGST. But who tells you this? Not CGST Act. But friends, it is discussed by relevant provisions of SGST Act. Okay, agreed? All of you got the point? Yes, no? Quickly let me know. Waiting for your reply. Yes. So see, thus it can be seen that both AAR and AAAR is constituted under respective state or UT and not the central act. This would mean that the ruling given by AAR and AAAR will be applicable only within jurisdiction of concerned state or union territory. Okay. Anisha is saying, please repeat the last point. What I am saying, Anisha, is provisions of constitution of AAR. Constitution means how AAR will be formed or how AAR will be formed. These provisions are not given in CGST Act. These provisions are given in respective SGST Acts. Clear, Anisha? Yes, very good. That's the only point. But what I told you is going one step ahead. What is given in SGST Act, that I told you. That one member will be there representing center, one member will be there representing state. These two members will constitute AAR. Okay, similar two members will constitute AAAR. Agreed, all of you? Now, is it crystal clear? Also, afterwards, I request you to go through the provisions of National Appellate Authority. Okay, check now. Procedure for obtaining advance ruling. Now, which three parties are involved in this procedure? First you tell me that, then it will become simple. First party involved is applicant. Second party involved is, of course, AAR. And friends, finally, the revenue of department is going to be in question. So department's officer, that is proper officer, okay, under GST. So which three parties? At one side there is applicant, at other side there is AAR, and there is proper officer. So please tell me how many parties are involved. So there are three parties involved. Very good. Check now. The applicant desirous of obtaining advance ruling should make application to AAR. Application should be done to AAR. Just one second. What has happened? Okay, just one second. How to dissolve? Yes, done. Oh, file has closed. How come? No problem, we'll open the file again. Check. The applicant desirous of obtaining advance ruling should make application to AAR in prescribed form and manner and shall be accompanied by fee of 5,000 rupees. Agreed? Upon receipt of application, AAR shall send a copy of application to the concerned officer. That's what I told you, three parties are involved. Applicant made application to the AAR. Now that application AAR has sent to the officer. Okay, and if necessary, call for relevant records from the concerned officer. The relevant records called for by AR shall be returned to the concerned officer as soon as possible. Please tell me, friends, who has to make decision? AAR has to make decision. So don't you think AR needs information? So who will give this information? Who will give this information? This information will be given, of course, on one end by the client, that is the assessee or the applicant. On the other hand, it will be given by the proper officer. Is it clear? Okay. In chat window, communicate. Those who have not switched on video, especially them. Those who have switched on video, no need to communicate. I can look at you and understand. So my request to others will be, switch on the video. It will be very interesting, because I'll get a flow. Especially we are dealing in theory topics now, so it matters a lot. The AR may then examine the application along with records and may also hear the applicant. Thereafter, he will pass an order either admitting or rejecting the application. Okay, so all information AR has got. Now AR can either accept the application or reject. Application for advance ruling will not be admitted in cases where question raised in application is already pending. Okay, pending or is decided in any of the proceedings in the case of an applicant under any provisions of the act. Very important point, that in which case advance ruling application cannot be admitted. If the application is rejected, it should be by way of speaking order. Speaking order means reason should be given for rejection. Agreed? Because don't you think it was right of the applicant to get advance ruling? But he is not getting advance ruling. At least he should get justification why. Right? Then, if application is admitted, then AR shall pronounce its ruling within 90 days of receipt of application. So what's the time limit for giving a decision? 90 days from receipt of application. Before giving its ruling, it shall examine the application and any further material furnished by applicant or by concerned departmental officer. Obviously, because for making decision he needs all the data, all the information. Okay, before giving the ruling, that is decision, AR must hear the applicant or his authorized representative as well as jurisdictional officers, because finally it is the applicant and the officers on whom this ruling will apply. So they should be given opportunity, okay, of being heard. One question is there here coming up. Sir, is the applicant required to fulfill some criteria or application is accepted as per the judgment of AR? Your question I have not understood 100%. Okay, but prima facie its answer is no. There is no such criteria. Okay, because you have seen the definition of applicant. So if I break down your whole question in two sub questions, I think there are two sub questions here. Is the applicant required to fulfill some criteria? No criteria for anything. Who can be applicant? We have seen one who is already registered under GST or the one who is desirous of obtaining registration under GST. Okay, so that is your first question's answer. And second question's answer, application whether it's accepted as per judgment of AR. See, if actually AR has to accept the application and has to give the ruling, but if there is any pending case, okay, or you have seen here that when application cannot be admitted, okay, or there's a pending or in a decided case, then the application will be rejected. And while rejecting this application, reason should be given. That is what they are trying to say. So is it clear, Vanchita? Is this doubt solved? Yes. Now see the point. If there is difference of opinion between two members of AR, as I told you, there are two members of AR, they shall refer the point or points on which they differ to whom? To AAAR. Yes, Appellate Authority of Advance Ruling, for hearing the issue. If the members of AR are also unable to come to the common conclusion in regard to the point or points referred to them by AR, then it shall be deemed that no advance ruling can be given in respect of the question on which difference persists at the level of AAAR. Agreed? And finally, copy of advance ruling duly signed by members and certified in prescribed manner shall be sent to the applicant, the concerned officer, and the jurisdictional officer. Agreed? They will get the copy of this advance ruling. Okay, there is one more question. I'll just like to read that. Sir, in ICSI module, sections are given like 28H, 28I. Okay, Pratiksha is asking this question. Pratiksha, 28H, 28I, you must be reading of Customs Act. Check, I am quite sure about that. So advance ruling is there in customs as well as it is there in GST. Right now we are doing advance ruling of GST. Mind it. What is the alternative of advance ruling? Rishika, not necessary that there has to be alternative of advance ruling. Alternative of advance ruling is that you take opinion of consultant. Got it? You take opinion of your consultant and you apply what your consultant says. But if after few days there is a notice because department doesn't agree to your opinion, then you have to face the consequences. Got it, Rishika? So government has not, government is not bound to solve your doubts, but just this is one of the way of solving the doubts by way of advance ruling. Agreed? Yes, no? Okay. Yes. So appeals against order of AAR. And yes, Rishika, yesterday we have seen, if this assessee wants, he may go for provisional assessment. That could be one of the option. Okay. Chalo. Appeal against order of AAR to the appellate authority. Okay, as we have already seen. If the applicant is aggrieved with finding of AAR. So one more case where we can go to AAAR. What is that case? Applicant is not happy. Aggrieved means ulka. Ulka, pay attention. Ulka, pay attention. Please ask, someone ask Ulka to switch off camera and then speak. Okay, this is not good. Okay, this is not good, Ulka. Anyways, chalo, with 100% focus you should do what you are doing. Okay, please. So all of you keep this in mind. If applicant is aggrieved with finding of AAR, he can file appeal with AAAR. Agreed? Got the point? Aggrieved means not happy. Similarly, if the concerned or jurisdictional officer of CGST SGST does not agree with finding of AAR, he can also file an appeal with AAAR. So in two situations, the matter will go to AAAR. Situation 1, the decision is not given at all by AAR because there were two officers, both officers had different opinion. In that case, the case went to AAAR. That was one. Second, when either applicant is aggrieved or any of the officer is aggrieved. Got it? With the finding of the AAR, then they can go to AAAR. Is it clear to all of you? Okay. In normal circumstances, concerned officer will be officer in whose jurisdiction the applicant is located. Thus, it can be seen that decision of appellate authority is also treated as advance ruling. Okay. Any appeal must be filed within 30 days from receipt of advance ruling. So, of course, after advance ruling, the appeal will be filed. So, it should be filed within 30 days. So, see, for giving original advance ruling, what was the time limit? 90 days from date of receipt of application. Okay. Now, after advance ruling is given, if at all you have to file appeal against that, that should be filed within 30 days. And of course, it can be extended for further 30 days. You can check that. You can check that it has to be how the appeal will be filed. So, okay, along with what fees, you can check that in the next point. There will be fees of 10,000 rupees. Of course, if concerned officer or jurisdiction officer is aggrieved by decision of AR, if it's an appeal going from department side, then there are no fees to be paid. And now, appellate authority should give decision. Within how many days appellate authority should give decision? Within 90 days of filing of appeal. Agreed? So, fresh 90 days. Original decision has to be given by AR within 90 days of receipt of application. Then, on that, if there is a problem, if any of the parties agree, they will file appeal to AAAR. That AAAR should give decision within 90 days from date of filing of appeal. Agreed? And further, if these members in AAAR differ in the opinion, there are two members here, na? If they differ in opinion, then it shall be deemed that no advance ruling is issued in respect of question under appeal. Okay. The said authority can either confirm or modify the ruling appealed against. And finally, whatever advance ruling is pronounced by AAAR, okay, its copy should be sent to all the three parties. What three parties you already know. Okay, agreed? The applicant, concerned officer, and to the authority. Is it clear to all of you? Quickly tell me yes or no in the chat window. It's all one-sided going on, friends. Yes, as discussed, Swati is asking a question. Sir, in case AAR cannot determine a question in appeal, then what will be the validity of advance ruling given by AAR? Okay, let me tell you. So, in short, in your doubt, Swati, AAR had given a decision, right? If AAR has given a decision and one of the parties aggrieved party, right? One of the parties aggrieved party. So now this AAR can either confirm the decision given by AAR or they can modify the decision. Okay, so it cannot happen that they cannot give decision. Okay, when will it happen that they cannot give decision? If the case has come to them on which advance ruling could not be given by AAR, and now advance ruling also cannot be given by AAAR, then it will be called as such question on which ruling could not be sought. I hope, Swati, I have answered your question. Yes, no? Please let me know quickly. It's difficult. I have not kept a speaker here, so I'll not be able to listen to you. So you'll have to type and ask me, or you can later on WhatsApp. Okay. Rectification of mistakes. So who has given the ruling? Okay. The law gives power to AAR and AAAR to amend their order, change, to rectify any mistake apparent from the record within period of 6 months from the date of the order. Such mistake may be noticed by authority on its own accord or may be brought to its notice by either applicant or concerned officer. And if rectification has the effect of enhancing means increasing the tax liability, then of course the applicant should be given opportunity of being heard. Got the point? Okay, there is one question coming up. So in case AAAR giving the decision where there was deadlock, no, there cannot be appeal for the same. If AAAR cannot give decision, then it is said that it is such a question on which ruling is not sought. Got it, Anisha? Agreed? Okay. Applicability of advance ruling. Advance ruling will be binding on whom? Very important issue. Acha. The question continues of Anisha, so I'll just read it, then go to this point. In case where the case was prima facie referred to AAR, in that case. Exactly, Anisha, I answered your question that AAR could not give a decision. Yes, AAR could not give a decision, so it went to AAAR. AAAR also could not give decision. So this will be called as such a question on which ruling could not be sought. So yes, that's what the whole point is. Okay. Then bindingness, bindingness will be on whom? So it will be binding on the applicant who has sought it and the concerned officer. Okay, and no one else. Means, can Anisha copy the decision given in Pratiksha's case? She may copy, but if I am officer and if I put up a case on Anisha saying that the tax liability is 18%, not 12%. Now if Anisha says, no, but Pratiksha is doing similar business, and in Pratiksha's business, ruling is given that GST is at 12%, then I can demand tax from Anisha. I can ask her to prove that why it is 12% and not 18%. In short, ruling will not be binding. Ruling given to Pratiksha will not be binding to Anisha, even though both are doing same business. Agreed? So advance ruling pronounced by AAR or AAAR shall be binding only on the applicant and on the concerned officer or jurisdictional officer in respect of the applicant. This clearly means that advance ruling is not applicable to similarly placed other taxable persons in the state. Is the point clear? It is only limited to the person who has applied for advance ruling. Okay, the law does not provide for fixed time period for which ruling shall apply. Instead, it has been provided that advance ruling shall be binding. Till what time it will be binding? Till the time there is change in law or change in facts on basis of which ruling was sought. Agreed? Means if law only changes, okay, if law changes after the ruling has been given, if law changes, then you will have to go according to the law, changed law. So you cannot take your advance ruling and say this is what the ruling was given. That particular ruling was given under earlier law, earlier provisions. Now if provisions have changed, you will have to change. So ruling will stop to be binding when there is change in law or when there is change in facts. Facts means nature of business or nature of transaction. Is it clear to all of you? Please let me know quickly in the chat window. Yes. Very good. Can see 23 of you now. Very good. Hope that more will join for the session on demand today. Okay, friends, going ahead. When will advance ruling be void? When it will be void? Okay. So, void here actually means void ab initio. Ab initio means from beginning. So, when it will be void ab initio? Okay. So, section 104 talks about that. If authorities find that advance ruling pronounced has been obtained by applicant by fraud, okay, because you wanted to minimize your liability, na, you gave some misleading facts. Agreed? You have hidden few things. You have given misleading facts. Because of misleading facts, you got incorrect advance ruling. Okay, actually tax payable was 18%, but you disclosed incorrect facts. Because of that, ruling given was pay tax at 6% only. Agreed? So, if authority finds that you have done such mischief, then the advance ruling pronounced, okay, will be declared as void ab initio. Ketki, is it clear? Yes. Consequently, all provisions of CGST Act shall apply to the applicant as if such advance ruling had never been made. Okay, got it? An order declaring advance ruling to be void shall be passed only after, yes, giving opportunity of being heard to that applicant. Agreed, na? Because you are as good as punishing him now. And copy of the order so made means copy of order declaring the ruling to be void ab initio will be sent to applicant, concerned officers and jurisdictional officers. Is it clear to all of you? You can go through powers and procedures of AAR and AAAR. That is just procedural part. So I hope, friends, this topic is clear to you. You can also go through provisions of NAA. Okay. There is one doubt coming up. Concerned officer and jurisdictional officer would be same or not? Answer is they may be same. Okay. There may be two different officers, or there may be only same position, only one position. Okay, now let's go to one good question, sixth question. I think same question we have done in main batch as well, but now whenever institute asks you question, ICSI, they are going to ask you such a question or some part of this question. Remember this question, okay? Ranjan intends to start selling goods in Delhi. However, he is not able to determine what classification of goods proposed to be supplied by him, as the classification of goods has been contentious. Contentious may be confusing, and the place of supply, if he supplies said goods from Delhi to the buyers in US. Ranjan's tax advisor has advised him to apply for advance ruling in respect of these issues. He told Ranjan that advance ruling would bring him certainty and transparency in respect of the said issues and would avoid litigation later. Obviously, no? You know that's the intention of advance ruling, so that a decision you obtain in advance, and in future all litigations and notices you avoid. Okay, but Ranjan agreed with this view, but has some apprehensions, doubts, worries. In view of the information given above, you are required to advise Ranjan with respect to following. 1. Tax advisor asks Ranjan to get registered under GST law before applying for advance ruling, as only a registered person can apply for the same. Question is whether Ranjan needs to get registered before making application. No. You know definition of applicant. Applicant could be even a person who is desirous of obtaining registration. So such question may be asked in exam. Remember. Second, Ranjan is apprehensive that if at all advance ruling is permitted to be sought, he has to seek it every year. Is it necessary to get advance ruling every year? No. It continues to be binding unless there is change in law or change in facts. Agreed now? Okay. The tax advisor is of the view that order of authority for advance ruling is final and is not appealable. Whether the tax advisor's view is correct? No. You can appeal to AAAR. Very good. Sambhav, who is Ranjan's friend, is a supplier registered in Delhi. He is engaged in supply of goods which Ranjan proposes to supply at the same commercial level that Ranjan proposes to adopt. Friends, is it possible that Ranjan adopts the advance ruling which is given to Sambhav? No, it's not possible. Sambhav nahi hai ye. It's not possible. Why so? Because advance ruling is binding only on the applicant who has sought it and the concerned officer, isn't it? For that particular question. Yes, very good. So what happens? He intends to apply the classification of goods as decided in advance ruling order to be obtained by Ranjan to the goods supplied by him in Delhi, whether Sambhav can do so. Reference can be taken, Rishika. Absolutely correct. Very good point Rishika is putting up. Yes, reference can be taken, a guidance can be taken from Sambhav's advance ruling, but it will not be binding. Not be binding means if officer, proper officer comes up with a show cause notice in case of Ranjan, then Ranjan cannot show Sambhav's advance ruling. That's the point which I want to make out. Yes, very good. And one more question I would like to ask, that can he make application for Doubt in relation to place of supply? Ketki. Answer is no. Place of supply issues cannot be addressed in advance ruling. Questions on which advance ruling can be sought are only 7 questions. It does not include place of supply. Okay. No, don't get confused. Is it clear to all of you? Wonderful. So all these solutions, friends, are given here. If you want, you can go through all these question answers, others as well, and of course this also which we discussed. So in my opinion, one of such question could be asked. If possible, prepare a short note on NAA. If required, you prepare. Okay, you may not prepare also. If you have time, you do NAA. Otherwise, leave it. Okay. Clear, all of you? Very good. So it's 7:30 right now. 7:24 actually. Assume 7:30. And we will meet for session 3 today itself, as you know, for demand and recovery. Mostly demand part we have to do. So I'll meet you at 7:45, that is after 20 minutes. Is that fine? So take a nice 20 minutes break and see you at 7:45. There should be more than 23 students. Right now I can see, rather 23 minus 2 participants are me only, 21 I can see. There should be more than 21. Okay, encourage your friends also to join the live lectures. Right? Chalo, see you at 7:45 with demand and recovery. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Those are watching recorded session. Thank you for your patience.